Welcome, Kyler Staley. How was Las Vegas?
It was good.
How,
It
how
was.
was how was the flight to Las Vegas?
Knew you were gonna ask me that. Not good. The flight was not good. It was. So yeah, I told a lot of people, but yeah. So I leave from Indy. My connection flight was supposed to be to Phoenix, and I was gonna, you know, connect to that. Go to Las Vegas, get there Thursday night, get about an hour up in the air. I should track back. They made me check a bag right before I got there, which I wasn't too happy about, but it is what it is. It plays a
Why did
part.
they make you? Why did they make you check with them?
Said my bag was too big, which was, I know that's hit and miss a lot of the times, but anyway. So I'm up in the air for probably about an hour on the way to Phoenix, watching a movie. Pilot comes on the air and he goes, "By the way, we've got to do an emergency landing in Chicago." Wouldn't tell us why. So 10 minutes goes by. He said we'd get there probably about 30 minutes. So obviously, a lot of panic in a lot of people's eyes. There was a lot of IU fans on that flight, that were doing the same flight that I was doing. So, we land. Well, it gets about 20 minutes, and the pilot comes on back on the air, and he goes, "Just to let everyone know, there will be safety vehicles waiting for us when we land." So that's kind of scary. So we land. Sure enough, there's fire trucks around us and everything. They tell us to just sit in our seats for a little bit as they try to check on things. Nobody wants to sit in their seats. They want to get out. So we get out finally. There's a plane that's coming to take us to Phoenix. It won't be there for an hour. I'm going to miss my connection flight. So that's not good. So I'm more worried about my checked bags at this point. Where are they going to be? They wouldn't put it. They wouldn't put my bags on the new plane that was coming. So I was like, what's going to go on with my bags? So they say it'll be on the first American Airlines flight tomorrow morning, which would be that Friday. I was like, okay, well, it doesn't make sense for me to go to Phoenix. I'll just stay in Chicago. I did that. Got on a United Airlines flight that left around the same time as my bags were going to leave on the American Airlines flight. I get there. Keegan's there waiting for me. We wait for my bags to come down. The checking area from that flight. Bags not there. I go to the little American Airlines kiosk, tell them the whole situation. They're like, "Oh yeah, your bags arrived last night." So I was like, "Don't know how that happened." Anyway, it was good. The flight back was okay. It was just long, but Vegas overall was pretty fun.
Yeah, that's. I'm trying to think. I don't recall ever having a situation like that, but and I don't want one.
No,
I, I watch. I told you this. There's a show on the Discovery Channel, Air Disasters. I watch it nonstop. I watch every episode. I know about everything there is to know about any airplane crash or why a plane could crash. I'm ready. I'm ready. I will bust into the cockpit. I'm ready, man. If they need a co-pilot, what are flaps set at? Flaps at 40. I need air brakes. I've got it all, baby. But yeah, I cannot imagine because yeah, it's not like a car wreck, baby.
not. It's not fun, especially when they tell us like there's safety vehicles waiting for us. Like that makes it a little bit more scary. Like, are we going to be able to land okay? Like, what's the deal here? So, I mean, I'm just glad to be alive. I'm glad to be back in Indiana, and I'm glad I'm driving to Kansas. I just got to say that.
Well, I'm not driving, so I guess I just got to stay clear of the tornadoes.
I guess you and me both, really.
So yeah, last time I was out in Kansas, I was on a plane sitting on the tarmac and I'm looking out and I'm like going, get this thing up in the air, get me out of here, man. Because there's always tornadoes in Kansas, it seems. But this is not supposed to be the time of year, but heck, you never know, man. Basketball continues. High school basketball is the only thing that's really going on right now, at least as far as we're concerned. But no, none of the IU prospects out and about. Anything new happening in the land of recruiting?
It's I mean, with these last two games being on the road, it's been pretty quiet for Indiana. Not to my knowledge, are there any upcoming visits? The only one I do know is in February, and that's Raleigh Burgess. He's going to go for the Ohio State game. That's an Indiana target. I've been talking to him quite a bit over the past couple months. But other than that, it's been pretty quiet. Indiana hasn't really done a whole lot of traveling as the season's kind of, really started to get towards like, the center, the core of the season. Uh, they have gone out to Montverde a couple times already to watch some of their games, to watch, Liam McNeely, Ozzie Newell, Derek Queen, those guys that they're recruiting pretty hard. Other than that, it's been pretty quiet. I mean, the prospects in the state that Indiana's looking at, Harrelson, Flory Badunga, Trent Sisley, those guys have been really playing very well to start the season. I mean, Flory Badunga just had a combined of 56 points in 2 games last weekend. It was like insane, like a 25 of 27 shooting, which all of his, scoring is just dunks. So, Jalen Harrelson's looked really, really good. Just put up 39 points over Bloomington North, which has J.Q. Roberts, a former IU target that's going to Valparaiso. And then Trent Sisley, he's just been one of the top scorers in the state. I would not be shocked. He's kind of my bold prediction as leading scorer this season.
Yeah, I've been keeping tabs up on him. I've sent out several tweets. What is he averaging? His high, I think his high this year is 36 points. What's he averaging?
I don't know.
20, probably around 28 points, I'm going to guess.
It's got to be in the high 20s. When I watched him at Brownsburg a couple weeks ago, he dropped 30 points, and it was like 30 of Heritage Hill's 58 total points. So he's
now, I will say this, and some of the teams they play are not exactly this is not the same type of competition that said Jalen Harrelson's going against, and you have to keep that in mind, and that does always make you wonder. You look at an Anthony Leal, he led a team to be 32-0 and was their leading scorer. So, but they play a schedule that I would say probably not that was stronger than Heritage Hill's schedule. I'm going to guess, just because of the schools. Bloomington South versus Heritage Hills.
Yeah. And at the time, you had, they played like Silver Creek. You had Trey Kaufman and, Cooper Jacoby and those guys. Bloomington South, Bloomington South still plays a tough schedule. They try to play the tougher teams. They do travel up to Indy sometimes, but they play usually the toughest teams in the Southern Indiana region. But I always go back to Anthony Leal and his high school team. If COVID hadn't happened, I think Bloomington South would have been undefeated and won the state championship that year.
It's going to be interesting. As far as recruiting, do you expect any of the coaches to see any guys this week anywhere?
I don't expect it. I think they're trying to focus. Kansas. That's a big road game environment. I think they're focusing on that. I don't see them going out anywhere this week. As far as the next couple of days, there's not really any big games. It's kind of a weak slate these next couple of days, and unfortunately the weekend is kind of a big slate, but they'll be on the road at Kansas, so don't expect them to go out to see any guys this week. Probably starting next week, I could see them going out.
Yeah, it would be just, you'd think that this would be a week that they could get something done, but it's also maybe it's a catch-up time to refocus, because you can't recruit every time you have an off day. You've got to do something at home. You've got to continue to move your own team forward, which is where they are right now. I would not be surprised to see Indiana play a very, very good game this weekend. I don't know what I expect, only because of the environment, A, and B, I don't know if Jalen Harrelson's playing. That makes a damn difference, without question. Nothing against Trey Galloway, but he's not Jalen Hood-Schifino. I said Jalen Harrelson, didn't I? He's not Jalen Hood-Schifino. And it's great having Trey Galloway come off the bench, because he's a solid player. And getting these minutes that he's getting is going to make him a better player off the bench. It's going to make Indiana a better team, hopefully. You hope that that's what they do get from this, playing not just without Jalen Hood-Schifino, but playing without him against such a high-level caliber of opponent, in which they battled with Arizona. They just made. Well, they were outplayed. Let's just be honest. Arizona's a better team. Let me get that out of the way. Even if Indiana had Jalen Hood-Schifino, Arizona is still a better team. But it doesn't mean they can't beat them. I think that they can. This Saturday, without Jalen Hood-Schifino, I don't know, because of the environment, I don't know that Indiana can win that type of game, because this environment is going to be absolutely exact opposite of what they experienced in Las Vegas. And Las Vegas was maybe better than being in a home game, because it was a more intimate environment than in Assembly Hall. And you had however many fans were there that were, I'm telling you, it was 85% Indiana. Well, it's going to be 95 to 8% Kansas. I mean, there's going to be little. Again, but I also, you're going to be surprised, Kyler. Indiana fans will find ways to get tickets to this game. I do recall at Duke, I was shocked. I was like, damn, how did Indiana fans get their hands on that many tickets? Just like the Kansas game. I don't know how they got their hands on that many tickets, because there's an allotment to each school. And that means that many Kansas fans had to give their tickets up. You muted yourself, my brother.
Kyler, I don't know if you're muted or if you need to rejoin, because
I think he muted himself probably when he fell out.
Now?
There we go. We got
it. Yeah, now you kicked yourself out by accident. You'll have to rejoin us. But yeah, what was I just saying there, John?
There was so much going on the past 15 seconds.
So what you're saying is you weren't paying attention. I know. There you go. You're back.
Sorry about that, guys. But anyway, no, I was with you, so shocked to see how many fans, came to the Arizona game. Obviously saw a lot of them during I
was not shocked at how many came. I was shocked at how many were able to get their hands on tickets, because Indiana was allotted 6,300. I think that arena holds a little over 12. There's been I saw people that said 16. That's not true. It's about 12. T-Mobile holds like 17 or something, I think. But anyway, regardless, that means Indiana got their hands on an additional 5,000 tickets. And Arizona fans had to give them up. That just blew my mind.
I mean, yeah, and it's also kind of poor effort, no knock on the Arizona fan base. It's also kind of poor effort on them. That's basically a home game for them. They can make that easy travel, but as far as Kansas goes, it's definitely going to be the toughest environment Indiana's played it all year. The Centos Center, when they played Xavier, was pretty tough, but it's going to be nothing like Kansas. The main thing is, let's just go ahead and assume Jalen Hood-Schifino's not playing. The main thing is Indiana's bigs, their front court is going to have to play better. The teams that Kansas has struggled with this year has had size. Has had a good front court. Indiana's got a really good front court. They might not necessarily be the biggest front court, but they're really skilled. They're going to have to take advantage of that if they want to have a chance. They're going to have to limit the turnovers. Xavier Johnson's going to have to be, if Hood-Schifino's not playing, he's going to have to stay on the floor. He's not going to have to pick up, quick fouls and, have him sit. Tamar Bates has been amazing off the bench. Miller Kopp's been really improving as of late. Those guys really need to play consistent, but I think the key here is, regardless of Jalen Hood-Schifino or not, I think the key here is the front court for Indiana. Trace Jackson-Davis is going to have to play like an All-American, not like he did against Arizona, going like 10 minutes.
You can't read that, but it says TJD has to show up.
There it is. I mean, as simple as that. And hopefully Race Thompson, his performance last week, hopefully that's a jump start to his season.